Hey everybody, what's up? Welcome to a super different episode of JAMXP. We are actually going to talk about what we see in the future for JAMXP, kind of where we want it to go, what we're hoping to do with it. Um, yeah, I personally have had some ideas for a while. We've talked about them at least once or twice on an episode in an interview. Um, so you may have missed it. Or we might have talked after we got recording with the bands. I can't remember. Um,
Yeah, I mean, you might have only heard us chat about the one idea if you've actually listened to more than one episode. So,
true. Um, so one of the ideas that I've been trying to think of ways to play off of like the Jam XP and then have different categories of things being like the P. So like Jam X performance or Jam X experience. Like, you know what I mean? So one of the things that we have talked about is, with some people is putting on a show. It would be a show where Jess and I finally meet. We invite some bands that we've interviewed to come on and just put on a show.
yeah, an
Um,
awesome show because it would be awesome.
it would be awesome. Uh, and of course, the running joke is Cincinnati. I don't know. That would be difficult. Let's make it.
I
Let's be
mean,
real.
we could make Cincinnati happen as long as some of the bands that are said they'd play can help us make it happen because
Yeah,
they live closer to the area.
that's the thing. Like realistically, more realistically, it would have to be Milwaukee or Syracuse. We would
Milwaukee or
probably,
Syracuse, yeah. But unless one of the bands wants to take the reins and figure out a venue and all that jazz, and we
yeah,
can do that. But we have had chats with a lot of bands, and we randomly mentioned this idea and the joke with other bands that we interviewed since then, and they were all like, "We'll play." So I mean, we got bands that said they will play.
yeah.
So I mean, it could
So I mean,
happen.
that's just one of them. I mean, I've had ideas for like other shows in general, small shows, or maybe even like sponsoring local shows just to kind of get Jam XP out there a little bit more. Um, I've done things like I've left stickers at a couple alternative shops in the area, some of our business cards
Yeah.
as well.
I've
But
left
we
business cards at Quick Trips on the bulletin board.
there is a Jam XP um, business card on the bulletin board at Freedom of Espresso in the Village of Liverpool.
Yeah, I mean, I handed out all those business cards after just not just a Phase Fest in Milwaukee. And of course, I walked and I found them on the ground and I picked them up. But I didn't find a ton on the ground, which is shocking because I don't remember getting a ton of followers after that. So nobody really followed us, I guess. I don't know.
Maybe the way to do it is be like, yo, scan this, follow us.
I think one girl I interviewed at not just a Phase Fest, one of the audience goers or the concert goers, I think one girl, she like followed us because, she wanted to see herself.
Um,
But unfortunately, not everyone's going to follow us. And that's fine. We want people that actually want to follow us. We don't want to force people to follow us.
right. And then another idea that I've had and played around with is, and we've asked a couple bands and they said they were down. Actually, I have a list in my phone of people who said they'd be down for this. Is doing a shared live Instagram where they do like an acoustic song or two or three as a performance with a joint share. So we still kind of got to figure out the kinks in that and figuring out like the technical piece of it as well as like lining up a schedule.
Yes, but that is something we for sure want to do in the future.
For sure, I've actually gone as far as testing the shared live thing, but on an Instagram account, where I've gone on my personal one and I had somebody else like go share live because there's like a rehearsal or a practice option. I
Yeah.
forget what they call it. Um,
The only problem I have with Instagram is when I've gone on live feeds before, all of a sudden someone's voice changes. Like they'll be talking normal and all of a sudden it'll get all low and weird and stuff on me. I don't know if it's my
oh,
internet or if it's
yeah,
something else.
if there's latency. it'll slow down, the voice will get low and then it'll probably
Ah.
speed up.
So I don't know if like Instagram's the best option, but I don't know if you can do it on YouTube where you can do shared lives on YouTube.
You might be able to. I wonder if it's something that we could do on Twitch. Um,
Maybe. We have a Twitch
so
account.
so we'll figure it out.
We have a
Um,
Twitch, but we don't use it because I used it for something else once and I needed a Twitch account. So I was like, sure, JamXP has a Twitch. We may use this in the future. We even have a Discord and nobody's joined it except like one or two people.
I think Z joined.
Z joined it. Yes. Thanks for joining, Z.
Is it Z and Andre? Let's be
No,
real.
I don't think Andre's even on it.
Rude. Andre, come
Rude.
on.
Yeah, Andre, if you're watching this episode, Chris says you're rude.
Yeah, join our Discord that is probably dormant.
We don't have enough to share on it. I'm not gonna go share with one person when she can just see it on our Instagram.
yeah. That leads me to the next point. I actually got an idea from a coworker of mine. Well, she's more like a boss, but anyway, Laura, this woman that would I work with, she said it would be really good for fan engagement, and maybe you should ask them to come on and talk about their musical interests and get to know your fans very personally and put those episodes out there. So we did post a story. I don't think we got any responses to the
Nope, we
story,
did not.
but I did reach out to Z directly, and she said she would be down. So we do have at least one episode where we can try that out, um, which I think we're supposed to record in the next 2 weeks. I think she said either next week or the week after she's
Well,
free.
yeah, you got to
It,
figure out that date, sir, because we
yeah,
got some stuff coming up.
I reached out to her before we started recording, and I haven't heard back.
Yeah.
Um,
You know, another thing too, if we actually do get fan interest, you could always have two random fans on at the same time, and we could do multiple
yeah,
people.
that'd be fun.
Maybe they'd become friends just from being on the podcast with us,
Gonna have to start our own social network.
right? The Jam Experience social network.
Oh, we can barely maintain a regular
Jamex
website.
Personals. Maybe we'll make a love connection
Oh gosh,
happen.
isn't there already a website for like that's based on like your musical interests? It got advertised to me on Facebook a
It
time or
did.
two.
I saw that advertisement too, and I was like, what in the hell is this?
Not a terrible idea. Whoever
It's
did that
not a
though,
terrible idea. We also need to talk with Johnny from Wildfires,
about
who
the
is
emo
now doing
love.
Johnny Zirkle music now. Yeah, about our love, emo love, a
I
TV
forget what
show.
we called it. I forget what we were calling
I
about.
think it was just called Emo Love.
It would be great, not even if it was a TV show, but if we made like YouTube, maybe not shorts, but like small videos. And like even if it was fake, it'd just be something entertaining
We
with
need to
emo
find a
love.
couple people on Instagram or something. Or let's find some influencers that want to pretend and do some videos for us.
That would actually be really fun.
That would
That
be
would
fun.
be super fun.
And they could pretend they're in love or on a game show. Someone's going to steal this idea now.
Probably. No, they won't. Who's listening? Hey,
Well, I
Andre.
mean, we do have like 38 top listeners. So could be one of those 38 people that steal
It
this
could be.
idea.
Um, but yeah, I think that's the majority of kind of where we want to go. The same person that told me that we should bring fans on, also kind of mentioned that even if we don't have a ton of purchasers, that we should probably have merch, which I have no problem with doing. However, if anyone's listening and would be interested in it, definitely express it in comments or something, because the only way we'd probably be able to do it is print to order,
Hmm.
as opposed to printing and then selling them to you directly, which I know is going to mark up the price a little bit. So, I mean, you'd probably be talking like 35 to 40 a t-shirt or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
So,
I have thought about, though, revamping the JamXP logo in the next year. So I was going to try and talk to some people I know and see if they might be able to help us out and give us some rough sketches or something on doing a new logo. I love our logo. It's great. It's nice and bright and catchy. But I'd like something that's a little more, you know, nicer to print, I guess, on like a t-shirt that's more interesting than just like, our headphones and a microphone and all that jazz.
Yeah. Maybe we should play off of all the Warped Tour nostalgia. Get
We
some
could.
black and white checker or white and yellow checker.
I mean, I went to school for print and publishing, but I'm definitely not a great graphic designer when it comes to like thinking of ideas. Like I can design stuff if I have like Illustrator or InDesign and all that, but I'm not good at coming up with concepts. Not whatsoever. There is way more people with more creative minds than mine. I'm creative when it comes to like photography stuff, and that doesn't help me design a logo. So, I mean, if anyone wants to help us out pro bono, and you're listening to this episode and you are good with graphic design and want to help us recreate a JAMXP logo, hey, I just thought of another idea. Maybe maybe we could post something about that. Maybe someone would help us out and
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
like
Otherwise,
we could if you're willing to help us out and help create a new logo for JAMXP, we'll use it and give you credit as a
maybe
graphic designer.
send you a little bit of merch with the design on it.
Yeah, and we can also have you on the podcast and we could talk about your day in life of a graphic designer. I don't know. We're down for any types of episodes, honestly. It doesn't always have to be music. But if you're following us and you see that, obviously you have a good taste in music, probably. So we can still chat music.
Another thing that we do want to do, we also want to get a little a jingle, if you will, or a little like intro song written for us. So if anyone's interested in helping us out with that, that'd be great too. I'd really hate to turn to something like Fiverr and have somebody like paid to do it for us that
Right?
doesn't know us. So if anyone listens is willing,
I'd hate
uh,
to have AI create a song for us as well. I'd
yeah,
rather it
maybe,
be more real.
yeah, maybe, our pals in Soft Spoken would do something for us or Long Live the Lights.
Yeah, maybe.
Um,
One of the bands that we are, closer to or
maybe, may
close-ish with.
maybe Haunter would make us something. That'd be fun.
I don't know. If any bands or anyone that's listening to this episode knows of any bands that would be willing to make us a jingle, we'll for sure give credit to the song, obviously. Be like, oh, our opening jingle, this is made by so and so, you know? I'm all for
Yeah.
giving credit where it's needed or necessary.
And we'll send you a shirt that says, I wrote a jingle for a podcast and I got a t-shirt.
Yeah, totally. That'd be a great t-shirt, wouldn't
Oh man. Um, I don't know. I think we've got ideas. I think for anyone that doesn't know, it's just Jess and I working on this. And I hate to say, admittedly, that it's probably like a 75-25 at this point. Ever since everything that happened in September, I just haven't been back up to snuff. And then my work got super crazy, and now we're in the holidays. And somebody at my job was let go, and now I'm learning their stuff. Unfortunately, Jess is carrying the bulk of everything right now. Normally, I would be doing a lot more scouting for interviews and video editing, and most of that is on Jess at the moment. So, anyways, it's
You're
just us right
welcome.
now. Yeah, I just picture The Rock from Moana being like, "What can I say except you're welcome?"
Yep.
Um, So one thing that I have talked with somebody about, that my wife actually works with, her husband is in a band and she's trying to re-get into social media managing. Um, so we are in talks a little bit on and off with her to maybe start doing some social media management for us. But I will say that for us to grow with some of our ideas, um, we probably need to find somebody that wants to help and be a part of JAMXP, um, you know, for the love of doing it.
Right.
It's nothing that would be like, hey, here's some money. Because if you haven't noticed, we haven't even gotten a sponsor. But to be fair, we haven't tried. But so if anyone also maybe that's listening, it'd probably be something we have to talk through quite a bit, and you'd have to talk to Jess and I. But if you're willing to help for the love of Jam XP, let us know in any way, shape, or form. It could be big or small. Um,
Yeah, hit
but
us up, send us an email, send us an Instagram message.
yeah, we'll call it an intern, a
Yeah,
Jam
you can be
XP intern.
A Janmax turn. I don't know.
Um, whether it's trying to scout or whether it's you know, calendar management. I don't. I'm sure we don't really care at this point, but I think we would both feel a little bit better if one thing or two things could be.
I mean, also, if anyone listening knows of any captioning apps that are actually free, let me know. Because Clipchamp is great and everything, but I hate the captioning on it. It's not cool looking or anything. And every single one I've tried, I have to pay for if I want it to last. So, yeah.
So what we're trying to say is we want to make Gem XP more visually appealing, and we want Gem XP to grow in general,
Yeah,
whether
I
that
mean, in
be
the
the experiences or having someone else on board with us that will actually give it the time of day.
in the grand scheme of things, we have grown a lot in the last like year and a half now. But Jam XP has always been about the music and helping people get their music out, like smaller bands, even just bigger bands, talking to bigger bands about nostalgia and everything. We just want everything. We want everyone and anyone anywhere to hear about these bands that we're talking to because we love the music so much that we want others to hear about them and hear stories and fall in love with these bands as well. So that's really what it's about. It's not about like making money or anything, but we are doing this, and we do spend money on it, but it's not about making money. We don't care about making money. We just care about the exposure the most because we want to reach as many people as possible.
Specifically to share the music.
Yes, for sharing the music.
That's really what we're in it for. I mean, that's how Jess and I connected in the first place was
Yep.
through music. So,
Music and
um,
MySpace.
music in MySpace, supposedly. Uh, um, but yeah, we're just, you know, we want it to grow, but we are but two people who have 40-hour jobs.
Yep.
And we're not, I'm not trying to make it sound like we're whining about it because if we really hated it and hated putting in this much effort, we wouldn't be doing it.
Nope.
So,
I
uh,
still do it because I love doing it. And my husband puts up with me doing it because he knows how much I love doing it.
so yeah, I mean, are there any other ideas that we had or anything that we wanted to
There
do?
is one idea because we still need to do this. We still need to have a spouses episode.
Yeah, it's going to be hard for me to pull Nikki onto camera, but I think she'd be down still. So
Well, it's in the next year. Let's make it happen because my husband's been waiting. He's like, when are you ever going to do that spouses episode? And I'm just like, I don't know. It's whenever Chris's wife is ready to do it. But he's ready, raring to go. So once she's on board, we can do it because they still think that one would be fun.
it would be.
And then everyone can know how we met our spouses and our stories and see how much they know about us.
That'd be fun, like a game show.
Yep. Emo love. No, just kidding.
Emo Love 2025.
Yep. 2025.
Um,
But yeah, that's all I can really think of. Just growing Jam XP some more. hopefully reaching more people so we can get all the awesome artists that we have on the podcast more exposure,
And maybe a sponsor or two.
right? Chris is so wanting this sponsor.
Well, okay, I wasn't before, but in our interview with Mike from Caught on the Mic, he made a good point. Like, yeah, there is a middle line. Like, you want a product you're going to support. He's like, but at the end of the day, we are putting our time in, and our money in, and maybe we get whatever sponsor we can, so we can get, a fancy microphone or like,
Or maybe we get a sponsor so I can get an app that I don't have to pay for to make captioning.
there you go.
Yep. Someone sponsor us so I can get a captioning app.
Maybe we should get sponsored by a captioning app.
Yeah. CapCut. Call me.
I think we have to call them.
Probably.
But I mean, he made a great point. Like, at the end of the day, um, at what point do we become realistic about it and kind of say, okay, well, if we want to put a little more into it, we gotta get a little more from it, if that makes sense. So,
Makes sense to us, I think. But, you know.
yeah.
Well, I don't know what else to talk about.
I don't know. I told you I was going to pay attention to how long we were going. We're at 20 minutes.
Yeah. So about 20 minutes, guys. You probably are sick of us talking about the future of JAMXP, though. So maybe we'll just make
Probably.
this episode a short one.
Yeah, it's probably a good idea.
But if you've made it this far, thanks for listening. And if you haven't liked all of our social media, we're on TikTok. We have 100 followers now. Woohoo! And follow us on Instagram if you don't. Subscribe to our YouTube because that's where most people are listening or viewing our episodes and our interviews nowadays. We do have Spotify still and Apple Pods and all sorts of other platforms, but I don't think they're doing as well as all those.
And
So
don't forget Facebook. We are on
we are on Facebook,
Facebook.
yes. We have gone up in followers on that.
Where's
So
our most followers? Is that still that's
Instagram,
got to be Instagram. Everything else is probably what, 100 or less.
we have 113 subscribers on YouTube now.
Yeah, love
Yeah.
it.
Let's get it up to 15,000. Just kidding.
What's the
I mean,
threshold
I'm
for
not kidding, but
monetization?
it'll probably never happen.
What's the threshold for
I think it's
monetization?
a
I think it's
thousand.
10. I think it's 10.
I think it's 1,000.
I thought it was 10.
Well, we'll look later. We can end this
This
episode
is
though.
bad content. Bye, everybody.
Later, guys. Please, of course, check us out. If you haven't already. Later, Gators.